And we're live.
Yes.
So let me reset my hello everybody. It's been a hot minute us trying to get here to go live with you. Thank you for your patience.
We're having all kinds of technical
What kind of difficulties? Let's say that
technical
again.
technical difficulties.
This is why we need to have Ganesh on everything. I don't know if you know this, but for years and years,
my Ganesh is broken. And,
oh,
yeah.
I used to have a Ganesh on the back of my phone, but hi, if you're all just tuning in, you're tuning in to Mystic Elements' new formation of all of
we
this.
decided to make a little bit of a change. So we're gonna try something a little bit different instead of going solo.
Which is hard for some people.
It is very difficult.
Well,
me especially. You know, Maven,
I could talk your ear off.
Yeah, you're okay.
Somebody there, nobody there, but this is nice.
Fun.
It's nice. It's a lot more fun, and we can have a kind of a conversation like a talk show.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're trying to do, right?
We're trying to make it more of a talk show.
More like a talk show. So you may want to take notes. You may not. Sometimes we're just going to tell you how we feel about something. Like tonight, I'm going to tell you how I feel about something. I promise a couple things.
Very opinionated woman.
I am. Well, I have stuff to back that up. I'm not just coming at it in the dark. I've been doing this a while. But part of what we want this to be, we're going to like some of the things we're going to talk about are stones you need to be looking out for, things that might be going on in the stone world if you like to buy stones and things. If stones and crystals are part of your environment, then
Can you see this okay?
I can see it pretty good. Hello, everybody. Oh, hi.
We've got a few people in here.
Hi,
now.
Jasmine Tucker. Deanne and Max. We have, I see James. I always want one of those things like I'm on that show where you used to look and say, that lady used to say, I see so-and-so. You remember that kid show? Surely somebody out there knows that kid show. It's not Reading Rainbow. There used to be a morning show and she would tell you she could see you on the other side. I'd always sit there waiting for her to say my name.
Was it part of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
No, but it was something like that. It was something, it might have been the Magic School Bus. Romper Room. Thank you, Jane Murphy, and she wins. Hello, Raven. Woo-hoo. Hi, Walter. Nice to see. So this show is supposed to be, we want to give you news in the crystal and stone world. Things going on in the metaphysical community in general. News at Mystic Elements, stuff going on there. And views and news. Because I have some views and opinions. It could have just been Maven has things to say, but here we are. Okay, so hey Raquel, I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you on here. So to start off with tonight, we're going to talk about community. And one of the topics we really want to get into is about burnables, about sage and things. How you can use them, like one of the themes of this evening, the sneeving. You do have a display. One of the themes of this evening is really about how to get negativity out of your life. We're inundated. Whether, I have to tell you, I have to check myself all the time, and I'm a pretty spiritual person, but I find myself a little less in tarot cards, a little less, I can't think of the right word, the lady that's standing between the water and the land. Oh my God, this is like the card I see my head's cut off and put on this card to represent me all the time. Starts with a T. You'll have to tell me all of a sudden now. Temperance? I can't. Temperance. See, that's why we're doing it together. Temperance. So I'm finding it more and more difficult to be temperate in the ongoing stress. So if I have a lot of practice at this, I figure maybe you people are too. I know all of us are stressed. Aren't you stressed? It's hard.
Every day.
Every day.
It seems like, some days are just more difficult than others. Hormonal shifts affect
the moon, the tides,
the moon, the weather, the environment, the political stuff
we're not going to go into because
we have desire to go into politics.
The last thing you need from us is for us to politicize your metaphysical experience. So
it's just everything in the environment in general. There's just so much going on, and there's so much negativity, and Yeah, sometimes I find myself just so angry and I can't figure out why, because it's not like something. Oh, I'm sorry, am I blocking your?
No, I see that. I see Rain, and Rain says balanced. Hello, Rain. Yeah. So as a whole, I like the word balance for what it means, but I'm seeking more harmony. We used to, if you've known me very long, I dedicate a year or whatever to a certain thing, and it used to be balance at betwixt and between years ago. And for everything that got balanced, there was an absolute, complete, and opposite. So as I learned this lesson, that I may not be seeking balance as much as I am harmony. And I also learned, I'm going to write this down.
And that makes sense, because balance is, to me, balance is more about equality. And because I think of, what's the goddess that has the scales?
Athena.
Athena, is it Athena?
Justice.
I think about that. That's right. I was thinking
Justice.
of justice. And that while that balance is nice, you can't always, sometimes you have too much on this side, and you have to deal with that. So more it's more about the harmony.
It is.
Can this little bit still support this large bit?
Well, I think in a mystical kind of way, people who are practicing earth-based spirituality, like Rain, one of the things we see balance about is like we note the cross quarters, like the Mabon's coming up, but our European brothers and sisters, where Mabon came from, they call it the autumnal equinox. So it's about the cross quarters of the year, because really walking this path, or any kind of spiritual path like this, is about you finding harmony in the seasons. There's a big clockwork all around us, the planets turning and the universe turning and the moon turning, and so it's all a clockwork, and it's sort of like jump rope. You got to find your place to jump in, and when you get that under your belt, then you can add another layer, and that just grows. So that's one of the things we were looking to. If you remember at the beginning of this conversation, we were going to talk about negativity. So we
circling back around
to negativity. One of our things was we have encountered a lot of commentary and have noticed a rise in concerns about using sage because it is a Native American practice. And we wanted to touch on that. I have some feelings about that too. That's where the feelings part comes in. So we wanted to talk to you. Have you heard about that? And what do you use as your burnable? Is it incense? Is it sage? And we're going to have a little conversation about that. So Two of Pentacles, judging, that's for sure. Juggling. I also want to tell you what the COVID card is. The COVID card is the Four of Wands. I'm going to look up a Four of Wands and show you. If you look at the Four of Wands, it shows a manner, and there's two people out front. They have leis on and they're happy. It looks like they're shaking bouquets. And there's people all around what appears to be a castle or an estate. The cards kind of refer to a long time ago, like the 15th century in Italy. So, it's a villa, there's people everywhere. And it's the COVID card because all fours are a pause. Like you see the Four of Cups as somebody sitting on the ground contemplating one of the cups. And that's kind of when romance maybe isn't kicking. Okay. Your relationship is challenged.
Yeah, I could see this time there's a lot of challenges in the romance area.
Sure.
It's hard to go out on a date.
Can't.
And, FaceTime,
it's not all there.
You don't get that connection.
Well, I know some people have been using the internet connections for loving for a while, but I get your point.
Yes. I prefer
in person. And we respect that. But the reason why why the Four of Wands is the COVID, because it shows you at home that the wands are passion and fire, and sometimes they refer to business and stuff. So the Four of Wands is not being able to go do anything.
So I always thought that the wands was more about work.
Well, it is. It's a lot about work, but it's also about passion.
Okay.
And so, pentacles are about work too. They're about what you do. So a lot of times you see someone hammering on a pentacle, that's because they're making something that's industrial or that's production.
Sure.
Or that means you might be keeping your, keeping supplies around. So it's all, everything's pertinent, but that's why we mention that. So that's why the card is the COVID card, since we're talking about COVID tonight. Why I don't have a mask on. I can feel a hair tickling me always when I'm wearing the mask. So we want to talk about the use of sage. Sage is, I've researched this, sage truly is an America's product. It comes, agriculturally speaking, it is from the Americas. So I fully understand. Many years ago, I had an altercation with a Native community who wanted to address one of our festival court, one of the people we invited to speak at festival, because they felt like there was misappropriation. So I learned real quick that I needed to learn more about this. And I feel like that since sage has crisscrossed the world, that while we can be respectful, I think it's okay that personally, and I'm truly walking ethical, I try to be very ethical best I can, I believe we can use sage. And they say that like cedar's another plant that's been used all over the world. We have plants have been burned in China and India and other places. So I think that as long as we use it gracefully and respectfully with honor, and we have a lot of people.
So does sage or similar foliage burn like incense?
Hi, Chip.
Your husband hates the smell of incense and it gives him a headache, said it smells like cigarettes. Could be the incense that you're using also.
Some change. It depends upon the oil in the incense.
Depends on the oil. Depends on the brand. We do have, there are some incense that tend to smell very smoky, but then we've got some other ones that smell very floral like. So that really just depends on the brand. But as far as it's burning like sage, it does not. It's a very earthy.
And there's sweetgrass too. Sweetgrass is another. Sweetgrass we know were used by the Black community. All the Golas is a big part of how we know about sweet sage or about sweetgrass.
And I love the smell of sweetgrass.
And
it's a really nice scent, and it's very soft.
It is.
Yes.
And it's a very pleasant scent. We have Gail Jean on here talking about Palo Santo wood has a nice smell to it too. So there are a lot of varieties. You can do your research. Part of what we're experiencing here is, as much as we know, like I watched a documentary today about a woman who's making sure that the Native American community is getting masks and supplies because they've been hit so hard by the pandemic. And she had found out she'd been adopted, but found out she was Native American. And she recanted her story of finding her history. A lot of us who are European and may be looking for an older practice similar to Native Americans here, to our tribal roots in Europe. Well, there's not a lot of history for that. So what we do know, a lot of people are doing the research, we do know in Europe they burned mugwort. They burned different incenses and woods than we do here, but mugwort is often used as the way we use sage. So I'm just going to say, if you have a feeling about this, that you can do research. There's all kinds of different, there's some burnables up there that I don't even know what those things are. There's a wall of incense and sages and things at Mystic Element, and there's a lot of different materials I've never even noticed. So if you're trying to connect to your biological tribal roots, which is kind of what a lot of us are doing in a way, then I suggest you see what works for you. And there's copal and frankincense and I love all those.
You can burn lavender. We have agrimony. There's like over 40 herbs. Not all of them you want to burn. Peppermint is another nice one to burn.
Peppermint's nice.
It smells really beautiful when it burns.
And catnip also. Each one has a property. So if you love sage, use sage. I mean, just be respectful and recognize its origins. But as you embrace and follow on your metaphysical path, it implores you to understand what about the herbs. Why did people burn this herb or that herb? Like catnip, if you burn catnip in your house, it'll draw prosperity to you. If you burn it in a shop, it can draw people in your front door. You know, it's just like the sort of like citrine. Citrine's that or pyrite or stone. I can't believe how many stones I know off the top of my head.
Nice.
2 years, people. I'm getting there. That you could, they should say you would always have citrine. A merchant should always have citrine in their cash register
drawer. Yes.
or pyrite. And there's other things like
Yes.
malachite also draws money.
Mhm.
There's other things like
There's a
that.
lot of them. Jade is another one that draws money.
Oh, you know, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Jade is good for you in lots of ways. So we're going to go through some. Oh, there's
So
Sharon
another one is
Rosemary.
Rosemary. Oh, yes. Burning rosemary smells so good. I don't
It's-
remember what the properties of the.
It's for memory. It
Memory?
helps you remember.
Well,
So
then I guess I need it.
so we're gonna. So from now on, anytime you see smoke on this show, it's gonna be rosemary. Thank you, Sharon. That's a great thing. So. Oh,
So then another thing
Hi,
about
Cherry.
the sage bundles that we get. This is blue sage. I think it's just blue sage, but we do get them from a company in Colorado that is supports the Native American tribes, and so it is sustainably gathered and all done with good intentions. So I am very careful about what we do carry in the store. I don't always know the sources, but I do my best to find out where it actually comes from and just make sure it's ethically sourced.
So that's a bonus about the metaphysical community. Hi, Boo. One of the nice things about the metaphysical community is a lot of things we try very hard to be ethically sourced.
Mhm.
And to participate in the people who produce that. So the
Right.
fact that you know a lot of, I know that you talk about her, who's actually putting your wands, making your wands first. That's nice. You're not just buying them from a stranger. So.
Right.
Hi, Jazz. We love Dragon's Blood Sage. Oh my gosh, that is so nice.
We are out of Dragon's Blood Sage. We have been out.
I have one at home.
All of my vendors are out. I don't know what's going on with Dragon's Blood Sage, but I am struggling finding it right now.
Oh,
Interesting.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So I've got like several sources I can get that from.
Okay, so that's our thing about burning sages and stuff. So since we were going to talk about negativity, I think that we can maybe touch on that again when we get to the stone segment of this show, right? You sound good? Feel good about that?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to talk about some things coming up. Your first astrological or holiday type thing you need to know about is full moon is September 2nd. Mark your calendars.
That's next Tuesday? No, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
So that's full moon. Full moon, if you don't know, is the moon. New moon to full moon, you're trying to grow. It's manifestation. It's bringing into reality, bringing things to you. All the way up till the full moon, day before, day after. Then at that point, full moon to the new moon coming back to the dark of the moon is about things you want to take away. So for new moon, if you've been working on something since new moon, like we had talked about that on one of these live shows we've done in the last month. And it's important right now with everything going on. A lot of people are looking for jobs. They're trying to manifest funds.
Mhm.
They're trying to manifest, how do I get by? I just want you to remember that you can use 3 bay leaves between now and the full moon. And the power is stronger the closer we get, okay, to the full time. So full moon is at 1:22 a.m. and it's our corn moon for this continent because corn came from here. So that's probably not what they call the full moon in Europe and that side of the planet.
Mhm.
But and harvest moon is next month, which we all love so much, which I think is on Halloween. So that's that. And you want to take bay leaves and you can put a magic marker and just mark a simple manifestation, whatever you're working on. And you can burn those. You can burn them with tweezers in a smudge pot. You can burn them on a candle. Just be safe. Those
They
tweezers
do
can get
crackle.
hot and they can get hot.
Yes,
So those are snappy poppy.
Yes, they burn up pretty quickly, and just it's kind of fun to watch them though, where they just burn up so fast.
It is.
Yeah, and snap, crackle, pop.
The waning and waxing moon. Yes.
Yes.
So
then when you're talking about manifesting,
mhm.
whenever we go into after the full moon and we go into the moon
the full moon
The
to the dark of the moon.
dark of the moon to the new moon, instead of manifesting, you want to go to removing obstacles.
Removing obstacles. It's
Yes.
time to take away from you.
Yes.
As the moon
So if you're trying to get a
grows
job, if
smaller.
you're manifesting a job, right now it's time to manifest that, and then past the full moon, then you change that up to removing those obstacles so that job does come to you.
Mm-hmm. And what do I need to improve? There's a lot of things with that. Every day we make a to-do list. How do we prioritize that? And that's sort of, if you can get in the rhythm of moving with the moons, like if you mow your grass in the space between full moon and new moon, your grass won't grow so fast. It's like if you want your hair to grow, you should cut it between new moon to full moon. So once you learn those sort of things, then it becomes more rhythmic. My dad called me and it was so sweet. He said, now because he sent me some plants and they had to go in the ground. He said, but you plant things that go in the ground in the dark of the moon. I'm thinking, did I get that right? And things that grow above the ground, you grow in the light of the moon. I thought it was interesting. It was a very nice touch because my dad said, well, that's how my dad planted, that's how I plant. And I was like, oh, touched my heart, kind of some stuff. So
That's probably in the Farmer's Almanac.
It probably is.
Yes.
Even the Farmer's Almanac said this was going to be a really weird winter. So just heads up on that. So we also have another observance coming up. Mabon, or the autumnal, I don't know, now I can't say it. Autumnal equinox is going to be Tuesday, September 22nd. And that, of course, here. Now, it's just the opposite on the other side of the hemisphere. So they're celebrating Imbolc now. So, no, wait a minute. Not Imbolc. Ostara is the opposite here. So rains.
So I did a
Hi,
job
Misty
spell.
Mayfair.
I did a job spell on the quarter moon last month. By the quarter moon this month, I have 2 jobs in the hand.
That's right.
That's wonderful.
Let's go up here. Hi, Misty Mayfair. Down the road, we're going to be bringing this to you with a little different program where sometimes we can even have you come on with us to ask a question. And that's a wonderful part of Bee Lives that I love. That allows us to, if you want to, you could get to see people, so y'all have to, gussy up a little bit. Not like us. We have no pants on.
I've got a dress on and in my pajama pants.
I have a dress on and some leggings because that's my running outfit. So Jonathan Brown has a quick question. I work in retail. We know about the angry customers. I've had carnelian and red jasper in my left pocket and blue lace agate in my right pocket. What else can I do because I feel it's not working? So Jonathan, one of the things to do that you can, I don't know how, first of all, welcome to the show. Boiling and keeping, I did this when I had kids. I had a couple really strong ADD kids, and I used to boil tangerine peels and clove. I know, so there may be a little pot, or you can add it to a burnable mix. So somewhere we had a thing that disappeared. What happened to that wonderful? How did you do that?
The pot is over there.
All right, so in your little pot, like if you have a shell that you put your charcoal in, and you might be adding certain incense, I would add some catnip to that, and I would add some tangerine peel. When you eat a tangerine, just peel it up and let it dry the best you can, or not. I mean, you just toss it in there; it's gonna burn. And clove too. Those, I think that's why I know that was the season, but at Christmas time or Yule time, I think that's why they go in the houses so much, because it sweetens words. So maybe even a little tangerine oil.
Another thing is what someone had taught me is wrap people up in pink taffy.
You mean mentally when they come in the door, try to wrap them?
Yes, I mean not literally.
Mhm.
You're not going to literally. That would be
I'm just clarifying.
yes. So you would mentally just energetically, you see these people and you can tell that they're getting upset. So you just wrap them up with either pink cotton candy or pink taffy, and
A
you know,
sweetness.
it's that very sweetness, and then the pink is all about love, because they're angry for a reason. Whatever reason, we don't know
Well,
what it
we
is.
all have cumulative stress going on.
Yes, and so that kind of helps can potentially help calm them down. It's they're sticky. Both of them are very sticky, so it's kind of hard to get off. So just kind of just
So
just
that's
douse them with that.
so. Just so you want to know, when you use that, that's called sympathetic magic, or sympathetic projection. If using the term magic does not agree with you, then just look at it as a mental exercise. But I would also recommend, Jonathan, I want to make sure I get your name right,
Yep.
that when you start out your day, I would, when you open the door, if you're not, smudging or something, then I would just set a clear intent that when people come in, they feel peaceful and good, and that they leave their anger at the door. And that kind of application to your energetic intent really can help a space. I used to run a space that sometimes 3 and 400 pagans would be in at one time in a building at night. So just saying. I learned a thing about rocking chairs and cattails. Gail Jean says, well, wrap me up in cotton candy. All right. So one of the next things we want to talk about, since we've talked about, I want to go back to Mabon just a minute. Mabon is kind of like a European, prior to Christianity coming to Europe. Mabon is the season of like Thanksgiving. It's when people would harvest and come together and share and celebrate their good fortune. So just want to tell you, if you're thinking about how you might observe that holiday, that's one of those ways. So moving on to our next, what time do we have now?
It is 8:30.
Oh, well, good. We're halfway there. We try to run about an hour. And we would also, just for right now, please know this, we would like topic ideas, what you'd like to hear about. Here's Olga Council. I did a money spell 2 months ago, had a job the next day, still worked there. And you're welcome, Jonathan. Good for you, Olga. I really do believe, and Jonathan, just like we're talking about this, when you set intent, it works. That's manifestation too. Manifestation is an ideology that's often associated to spiritual alchemical processes. So let it go, by the way, if you've been paying attention at home, let it go. So we are going to now move on to stones. We want to talk about stones every week just to give you some updates about new things at the store, what's going on around. So for the first one we have, I'm going to lift this guy up if I can.
It's heavy. Here,
Maybe
let
it'll
me
take
help you.
both of us.
Yeah, I gotta be careful. Yeah, I got it.
We have a huge piece of angel wing calcite here that we really want to show you that's hanging out at the store. We know we have a lot of angel people in community. I'm taking your, see this beautiful guy? And there's some really, let's turn a little bit. Let's show that baby off. There is some beautiful ways it's, oh, like this section here is pretty too. It's just gorgeous. It looks like it's been cut out of an edge of a icy
really,
cliff or something.
All of the layers in it. And
so this is a new stone at Mystic, and
we see a tag on it, Michael.
Oh, that's okay.
This one's not tagged.
You can come check it out.
So this one is probably 10 pounds, maybe.
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
It might be more than 10 pounds. I can lift a few packages of butter and be okay. So it's beautiful. But angel wing calcite is a stone that helps you connect to angels and higher things, like your
higher celestial beings.
Your higher celestial beings. It helps you connect to your crown chakra. So if you're doing self-improvement work and work on more understanding and a wider understanding, this is a beautiful stone to have on a great big crystal grid at your house, or to be, I don't know what this comes in. Does it come in small pieces, or do we
We
just
only
have
have
it?
this in large pieces.
Okay, so
I mean,
this,
this is probably, this is one of the bigger ones, but we
Mhm.
do have some probably about half the size.
it's a wonderful stone to add to an energetic practice if you have one working with angels and celestial beings and things like that. This is a great stone to add to your collection.
And this comes from Mexico.
Oh, well, it's beautiful. It looks like whipped up taffy in a way. All right, so I'm putting that back down there. Get my stuff out from under it. All right, so the next shape we're going to talk about are the small massage wands, and I'm going to bat this over to you. You know those really cute fluorite ones?
Mhm.
They're about this big. They're rounded on one end and they're pointy on the other. And I'm thinking those are great for those muscle knots. We'll go away. Pull that little thing up out at work and
So
just
there's different ones. Some of them have rounded ends on both. You know, they just
Mhm.
they're like smaller on one end, but then larger. It's like those rounded ends, and that is really great. Like if you've had a spot right here,
Mhm.
you just press it in, and it just kind of massage it, and it feels so good. And but you know what those do is also directs the energy of that stone.
So you use it like you use a stone wand.
Yes,
And so do you have a name for that? Is it just a massage
wand.
wand? They're not a shape I'm used to seeing at Mystic. This is a newer kind of shape for us at the store.
Yeah, we got a lot of really great new stuff recently.
So there's
And we're
there's
trying
been a
to-
shopping trip.
Yeah, there was a big shopping trip, and then we had stuff shipped, and then today I dealt with a whole bunch of new statues. So I'm working on getting all of our new statues online.
Deb, you are not watching us off air. We're on. Oh, you're waiting to watch after. Okay, that'll be fine.
She can't watch us now, but she'll watch us later. I guess is
Oh,
what
so
she's
Tina
saying.
King says she uses one. Hi, Tina. We're saying hello to you down in Texas. They are good. And so what I'll tell you about them is they're small, they're easy to tuck in a pocket. These are fluorite.
Yeah,
And
and they're the perfect size for you know just putting it in your hand and then giving a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And fluorite's really good for people who have stress. It's a wonderful stone.
ADHD.
ADHD. It helps
good. It's
bring
great for
focus.
focus.
It's a really good focus
Yes.
stone. So we do have a question on the board here. It says Ashley Hill. Hello, Ashley. Thanks for joining us. You want to read that? Or?
So I'm having trouble in an important non-romantic relationship in my life. It's causing me quite a bit of mental stress. Can you suggest something for this?
Well, for me, I always have the same go-to. I'm really kind of a black tourmaline. I swear this is why there's a shortage, it seems, in the world of black tourmaline pendants. I like black tourmaline for things like that. It helps with the anxiety surrounding it. Do you have another stone you'd recommend for that? Amethyst is one. Amethyst is the all healer.
I am not the stone expert. Michael, are you listening?
Lepidolite.
Lepidolite, yeah.
That's a beautiful purple stone. It's very layered. It stacks very similar.
Except for the tumbled pieces.
Yeah, I
It
noticed
comes
that.
in two different forms. It comes in those layers. It's like mica.
Mhm.
It has the mica in it, so it comes. And that's what this kind of reminds.
That is what it reminded me
Yeah,
of.
it has those. Except this looks like the layers are just kind of all put together. But lepidolite has these beautiful layers. But then we can also get it in the tumbled form too,
Which is nice.
which is really neat.
We would recommend any of those stones. And I just want to tell you, in a pinch, you can call a quartz crystal into serving you in any of these
And
capacities.
you can program it.
You can program it to be whatever you want it to be. And by programming it, we mean, what do we mean by programming it?
Setting the tone and energy of the piece.
So
That
would
you're
you
wanting out of it?
So you might sit with this in a focused state
Yes.
and then focus on the piece and the energy.
Just tell it what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Set those intentions and the energy and because quartz is kind of almost like a blank slate,
Mhm.
but it's also amplifies. So you could have the quartz with the lepidolite, and it'll help amplify
Mhm.
the lepidolite too.
But if you didn't have lepidolite and you want to amplify, so what we're saying is focused intent with this stone. And
So besides stones, is there anything else that you can think of that would help with
well, I would do, I burn spell pots. I've been doing that for years. A little spell pot, if you have a little tea candle, you got a couple hours of work there. You can sit with it for a couple hours.
Mhm.
Put in that. I put in crystals that I know can tolerate the heat and the liquid. And I would put in water, and this is where your full moon water or your new moon. But you might ask for clearance, like under not clearance, but clarity. That's a better word.
Mhm.
Um,
and throw in some herbs in there?
there's some herbs in. I would put catnip. Catnip is good for bringing in things. So maybe bringing in
And then lavender for the calming.
lavender for calming. Catnip, I would say, because catnip can bring joy and can bring calm, bring interest, and kind of bring a newness to the relationship. But we had talked about tangerine before. I would throw in tangerine and clove. So.
Okay. So then, any stone recommendations for trusting your intuition and confidence? I have a pharmacology test for nursing school on the 3rd, and I am super nervous.
That's that one I love, Danburite.
Danburite.
Danburite. We have some nice pieces. We have some that have a pink hue to them that I like.
They're super soft pink.
And I have one that's a section. It looks almost like a long rectangle that I keep with my tarot cards. It lives in my tarot bag, and I keep it with my cards to build a greater psychic connection to my cards on days I may not. Like, every client's different. Some people come in, I get it. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes it's not that way, and I might pass the stone over to them to help to build some, like something between us, a greater connection. So that may help you that way.
So our assistant
our
behind the
lovely-
scenes,
the shop boy.
shop
Yes.
boy, he says blue aventurine. So it aids in communication by developing vision and inspiration, helping you to be more eloquent when needed, helps to improve self-confidence when approaching a project, and helps you to complete with less anxiety, enhances psychic abilities, and increases spiritual awareness when meditating.
Not less anxiety, less anxiety. Right?
Did I?
It sounded like less, but
Okay.
that
Yeah, well,
I'm a weird person. So.
sometimes my mouth doesn't cooperate with
I'm just
words.
messing with you.
Help you complete. Well, it's also I'm trying to not squint.
Just
And
adventure.
help you complete
That's dark blue aventurine, huh?
with less anxiety. I think we need to fix the description on there. That looks like there's an extra word.
That.
threw me.
Well, thank you, Michael. We
Michael.
appreciate that. It's Mike's Rock Shop. Don't y'all ever forget that part. So, that is a good stone, and adventuring comes in different colors that I'm aware of. Yes.
Yeah, there's blue aventurine and green aventurine, and they both have there's a subtle difference.
Okay. So
I don't remember what the two differences are, but it's subtle.
So, I will tell you, Raquel, that Raquel asked that we're kind of finishing up that question. I will tell you that I use black tourmaline all the time for focus. It really helps bring a clearness to me. So,
And if you're looking for focus, also fluorite too.
yeah, fluoride's
Yeah,
good for that.
Jane
And so, also you want to, I will share with you that while Lorraine and I, and Mike really does know most about the stones, Lorraine and I can talk to you about it. Any of the people that work at Mystic Elements who are available to
that
speak to
work
you
with them
all the time,
every day,
that
all
really,
day.
oh, you can search our website for the right
Oh,
attributes to a
yes.
stone
Thank
too.
you.
MysticElements.com, where we have almost everything.
Well,
in the
what
store.
he's talking about is the search field.
Oh,
We have a search field, so
That's
if
right.
you want to find a stone for grounding, or any product, actually any product, if you want to find a product for grounding, you type in grounding in the search field, and it'll show you the entire list of any product that references grounding.
oh, how nice is that?
Or anxiety, if you're looking for something for anxiety, it'll list all the products that
So-
help you with anxiety.
So the website's in two parts. So there's the shop
So we're talking
part.
about the shop. You know,
In the shop cart,
the
that's that where
store. Yeah. The,
Okay.
The store.
It'll say
section.
grounding.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
mysticelements.com/shop. That is where you can find all these products, and you don't have to live here to, check these
Yeah.
things out. We're in lovely.
Chip's funny. Deb would say, "Ask the stone, not program."
Well, Chip, thank you very much.
You're probably right.
So there's Deb. She
Oh,
says,
I ask the stone
yes, be
to work
kind.
with me.
Be kind to these entities. We do know that these are living and growing, and not in our lifetime may you ever notice it, but they continue to grow. They have their own energy. So be at peace with that. So some of the other things we're going to talk about tonight, since we've already talked about this lovely angel wing calcite and the small massage wands, now we're going to talk about some of the stuff going on with blue lace agate. We want you to know that there is a growing lack of availability, right, for
Yes.
true blue lace agate. So if you have been wanting to get some, now may be a time to find some for yourself.
And blue lace agate is chalcedony. It's just the
Say that again.
Blue lace agate is the same minerals as chalcedony.
Chalcedony. That's the one I can never say right. I always call it chalcedony, and you laugh at me. So I had to hear you say it again.
Okay.
Chalcedony.
Oh, is that why you asked me to repeat it?
Mhm.
Okay. The difference is the blue lace has that white banding. It's just all that banding through it. So chalcedony is so easy to find, but from conversations with vendors last year when we started having issues even getting blue lace agate, where the prices all of a sudden skyrocketing, it was because they were starting to use it in cameo jewelry pieces.
I have a lovely cameo made out of it.
Because I'm sure I could just imagine what a cameo would look like in a really nice piece of blue lace.
Well, the
'Cause
shell.
it carves beautifully.
They used to use a special shell that is now, I can't think of the name of the shell. Deb probably knows. Anyway, they used to use shell to carve to get that cameo effect, and now without that, they've turned to blue lace agate. So we just wanted to make you aware that in the stone world, that is something to be watching out for.
So if you cannot get blue lace agate, chalcedony is your next best thing.
There you are. For the mat, if you want it for its stone properties as you make grids or however else you use your stones. I put little things together. Like I have little stations around my house where my stones live. Any day you might see me at Mystic, and I used to live in Texas. I have an array of them. So we are, if you're ready, we're about to move forward to our next thing we want to talk about, and that's fake stones. So the fake stone we want to make you aware of, that we're seeing a lot more of and keeping our eye out. Any stones that are not real, Mystic Elements returns those. We try to keep, good stones.
It's been a long time since I've had any issues with that.
Well, Michael says that it's one of the newer things we're seeing is malachite issues are coming up, that they're seeing a lot of that. And so a way to know whether or not your malachite is good, one of its weight. Good malachite has a hefty weight to it. It'll feel right. Real light malachite is probably some malachite, ground malachite, and dust and things poured into an epoxy resin. So to be able to visually tell the difference, I don't know, why don't you lift that heavy thing since I don't want
Let me use this.
I don't want to break it. So right here you can see all of this patterning. But if this was not real, you might see some very
a lot of black.
A lot of black.
I've seen the pieces that we had ordered some malachite, and it was pendulums, and I got it, and there was a lot of black, and it was just it was swirls, and it was just too perfect the way that it was, and I was like, I can't sell this. So I ended up returning it. And
so we do feel it's important to warn you when you're out there looking that you're checking your stones.
Yeah, because now I think enough people are catching on that now it'll say not synthetic. They don't color. There's another word that they're using for it, so you know that it's not natural. That it's not natural malachite.
Okay,
You know, and supposedly it's still malachite. They put it in powder form with resin because malachite is hard to carve. Um, I don't know how they manage that, but it's more the smaller pieces I think that has the issues with the malachite. The smaller you get, because I even had I've seen the beads, the bracelets, and if they're perfectly round, it's something that's questionable because they crumble so easily. But we do have some malachite bracelets. They're not perfect.
Yay, spell pot info. I got you, Kim
Okay.
Glass. We're gonna get to it sometime. The spell pots. So Deb, if I just want to check with Deb Bowen. She's out watching right now. As a younger woman in my practice, I was told never to wear malachite on your skin. That you shouldn't wear malachite. That it could cause you to get sick. So I just checking in on that. I think I've read that recently too. But so I was going to bring that up. I'm
does.
seeing it in stones and in bracelets of late.
Yeah, there is I forget what mineral that it has in it that you definitely
Arsenic.
arsenic.
It has arsenic now that I remember.
So you know, usually it has a coating on it, I believe, that helps to protect it.
So Deb wants to know about opalite.
Oh, opalite.
Opalite is
It's glass.
It's glass, but it has a lovely look to it. You see
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And
you
we
see it quite a
used
bit.
to have opalite.
I have opalite.
We used to have opalite, and then Deb educated me on what
Mhm.
opalite was. And then there's also blue. What was that, Michael? Blue aragonite?
Aragonite. Is it aragonite?
No, it was the blue opalite. It was
So you
Yeah.
see
blue
this
obsidian.
Blue obsidian. Thank you. Blue obsidian.
is also opalite.
It's glass.
It's glass. Well, so there are ways to use that because you see what a friend of mine calls, Kat McNulty calls druid eggs have an opalescence. Am I saying that right? There's some ways I turn that word. They're using opalescent. They have a very opalescent and they don't have quite that luster to them. It looks like they've been sand blown. You see those egg shaped like that? That's also opalite. Did I get the word right? Why all of a sudden?
Opalite.
Opalite. That's also that. Oh, so she's saying, so it's raw malachite. You shouldn't. So anyway, you can use that stone if you find it pretty. If it enhances the sympathetic energies you're lending to whatever working you're doing, we say go for it. If you have a nice piece, I have a beautiful piece. It was given to me by my friend Rain Riversong. Happens to be on this show tonight, and I love it because Rain gave it to me. That's why it matters.
Well, and
to me.
then Gail mentions, a lot of pieces are dyed. Blue halite is often dyed. It is just regular halite. They dye it blue, and a lot of times it's often sold as turquoise.
Oh, keep an eye on that
Because
because
the
a lot of
patterning
turquoise.
is very, the halite has very similar patterning to a lot of the turquoise. It has that veining in it.
Mm-hmm.
And boo, stop.
He's making a special appearance on this show. So
he's got allergies, so he likes to lick his feet, and we're trying to figure out how to help the poor guy. Yeah, so halite, that's another thing I hate. You see that in a lot of department stores.
Deb, are you saying opalite's very good at helping you break through emotional history? That's interesting. I
Or malachite.
Oh,
Probably malachite.
One of those, maybe.
Yeah.
So for the next stone we want to talk about, you're going to see. So I want to tell you that if you're new to the stone world, and I know a lot of you know a lot more about stones than I do, trust me, but I have, where I see something really works, I really jump into that. So at Mystic Elements, we carry a stone called mahogany obsidian.
Yes.
And we've had some real luck with mahogany. It's the storm stone. Hurricane stone.
Specifically the hurricane.
So I want you to know you can get it in small blades. There's also black obsidian. I have mixed these two together with great results, but you can find blades in varying sizes.
We have it blades, tumbled, and then we have
these bigger pieces.
these
But
bigger pieces.
I'm going to
which is really
suggest if you live in a storm area where you're hurricane prone, I tried this right before Florence when we knew Florence was coming. I brought home 4 of the arrowhead points. Now you can use tumbles too. We just had arrowhead points. How cool is that? And I put 4 of them right around my house.
Mhm.
And I put 4 of them right around my storage building. And then I went around the 4 corners of my property with intention and with reverence and spiritually speaking to my trees and my land and the lady, or however you view God, and asking for my place to be safe.
Mhm.
And I put these stones in the ground for myself to feel better, so I gridded my yard. And I had very good luck in Florence. I didn't lose a shingle. And
And I only put it on the
I'm not
corners
alone.
of the house. I didn't grid the entire property. And we did have a tree to fall on the house,
but no damage.
but no damage. I mean, the shingles were a little messy, and I got a little bit, a little bit of damage, but it was minor damage. It was more expensive getting the tree cut down than anything else.
Well, and we gridded Mystic Elements.
Yes.
And all around us during Florence, there was lots of damage in the buildings around us, but
Oh, yeah.
we fared very. We had a
The
little rain
building
damage.
right next door to us had a tree that fell through the roof.
So, if it builds a protective energy, we say, why not? So, I also really believe that if gridding works that way for storms, that maybe I'm going to think that you could also maybe keep a piece of mahogany obsidian in your car when you are driving and moving in the current. So let's look at weather's a current. And when you're in your car, you're in a current, in a flow. You're flowing with coming and going and moving in and out of that. I think to help keep you safe, that it would also be beneficial to maybe have a small piece in your car altar if you have one. Many of us do. I'm just saying I think it would be good. So is there anything else about mahogany you could share with us?
I think we covered it.
All right, so that's kind of where we are for tonight, right?
Yeah, we're at 8:56. So.
That's kind of where we are. Let's see. She was talking about malachite.
Yeah, she was talking about malachite. Do you want to touch on?
Let's see what else everybody has to say. Hello, Kat. Palchik.
Huh?
I'm just looking at the different
okay.
names and saying hello.
Okay. Literally have bowls of stones all over the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we.
So do we.
Yes.
I noticed that I clean up my purse and every week it seems to get heavier, but if you pull all the stones out of my purse, it's much lighter.
Michael has a big bowl of them, and he just goes through and decides which ones he's going to go in the pocket for the day.
We have a couple folks that watch the show that have taken several necklaces, but they also have taken chain bracelets and hooked the cages with stones in them, so there's stone cages with. And I'm like, it's like weightlifting. You could do your exercises with them.
Yeah, and I took one of those stone cages and I put it on Boo's collar.
Oh, really? For your pet?
Yeah, and then when I had the Bailey, I did the same with her, but she was so short that it would often drag the ground, so you could hear it scratch all along the floor. So
I think for an outside pet, that might be something they might get caught. Do you think, or did you?
It's on the collar.
It's on the collar.
So it shouldn't be any problem.
So what did you put in there?
I think I put howlite.
Oh,
was it howlite?
Yeah.
And why howlite? That's a stone that's new to
Calming.
me. Calming.
Yes.
Howlite. Get it on all your teenagers. On all your teenagers. I'm talking to the screen.
Douse them with it.
Put it in every room. That would be helpful. Are you making chicken fried steak, Jazz King? You're trying to kill me. Oh. Do you know what they don't have in North Carolina as much as they have in Texas? That would be beef. I miss chicken fried steak. Well, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm looking and seeing people.
I've seen chicken fried steak on menus.
Chicken fried steak is like It costs $50 to buy a brisket in this state or more.
Okay,
It's a pork steak. You want to make pork? So when I lived in Dallas, I used to make a North Carolina pork all the time that people love because it was North Carolina style pork with the vinegar
oh yeah,
and the
those
hot
are my
vinegar and
favorite.
stuff like that. I don't like a sweet barbecue. Shoot me, I don't. So it's just strange. Now I'm here and I'm like, I can't. I got to go get some brisket. We sometimes get brisket out but then you're disappointed because
I've got a good place for you to go.
is it Dickie's?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. Okay.
Mission Barbecue. They've got,
Somebody else told me they were
they've
good.
got
Maybe it was
really
Tara.
good-
I think
they've
Tara
got
said
really
good.
good brisket. That's what I
Right.
get all the time.
All right, guys. So
Sorry, that's a local place.
it's a local place. It's wonderful seeing y'all. Sharon, hello. Deanne, I love you very much, Fauna. And it's wonderful seeing your faces. Hello, Kim Glass. So I guess we're going to wind up, but we would like topics from you guys. We're going to cover things going on in the news. And
Yeah, we're gonna try to just do something a little different every week and not stick with one particular subject. You just make it more conversational
and respond to you too. We want
yeah, and
to.
we love this. We've had a lot of really great questions and
The-
that was really appreciate that.
And also, I think in the future, I know a lot of people have been asking me about what festivals are going to be happening. All across our country, there are organizations that host festivals that cover a variety of things that we do at Mystic Elements.
Mhm.
And a lot of those places are also now canceling their fall schedules. So I hope when we come back, we can talk about that.
Yeah, so we're not going to be doing our annual Samhain event this year.
No, because of
we're
this.
just not going to be able to do that.
We are, however.
This is the first year. Well, no, it got canceled last year, didn't it?
Because of the weather. Didn't something
Last
happen?
year?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was because my father had passed away.
That's right, your father died. I'm so sorry.
So,
about that.
and then, but we're hoping next year we'll be able to start doing stuff at the store. We're hoping that next year we're hoping the next year we'll be able to start doing events again.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure where, we're not sure how, but when we're finally allowed to start gathering, when it's safe to gather in large numbers, we're definitely going to do something.
So, if you don't know,
However, which way, we'll figure it out.
Lorraine and I are both Leos. I don't know if it shows, but when we were trying to think of what to call this event we're doing now, one of Lorraine's names was Two Leos on a Mission, and we are definitely on a mission to get all of that stuff she just said worked out for you. And we may have a surprise sooner than that. We're trying to
I'm always coming up with something.
She's pretty good at that. She's good at cooking space. But one of the things I want to say is when you are a spiritual community and we see people finding a way to have observations all around us, thus to provide a much needed touchstone or moment to people lost in a world that is definitely difficult at the very best right now. We are trying to find a way to be able to do that for you more. Mm-hmm. So please know that we recognize no matter what practice you come to Mystic Elements for, that we're all searching right now. We're all looking for ways to hold on. And we have you in mind because of this.
And if you just need to chat with somebody, if you have some questions about some things, send us a message, send us an email. Maven's got her own Facebook page, but she can, she has the access to check messages on Mystic's Facebook page.
And we'll get with you.
Yeah, we'll do what we can. It is all about the community, and we're here to, just try to do our part in helping everybody just get through all this. It's a hard year.
Well,
in so many different ways.
It is, and because of freedom of religion, I think all of us need to allow ourselves the understanding that we're all seeking. Mm-hmm. No matter what your path is right now, we're all in a place. no, none of us have been through this before. So
No.
that's it. I think we're close. So just if you have some ideas, let us know. Write us and give us some ideas of what you'd like to hear about, what you would like us to talk about, and we're gonna keep working towards that for
Yeah.
you. So
Looking
And-
forward to this. I actually enjoyed this.
this was fun. So
Yeah.
you know
Makes it
they
easier.
they may want to know about Maven's Magical Life because I was
Yes.
doing a couple of things, and I don't think we've completely worked out all of that. What's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but we're gonna.
Not sure what.
Well, I mean, I have my chant. I usually do the first Wednesday of every month. I do the
Okay.
chants.
So you're going to
So-
be doing that on Maven's Magical Life.
I think I'm going to be doing that on Maven's Magical
Okay,
Life.
so
and we'll-
some of Maven's stuff, she is going to be moving. I don't know the word. Lost the word. She's going to be moving some of her stuff that she's been doing on our page, One Mystic Elements page. She's going to be moving that to her Maven's Magical Life, right?
on Maven's Magical Life. That's
Maven's
right.
Magical Life. So she does have her own Facebook page, and she's going to be doing some of her own stuff on there. And we're going to be doing all this together now on here.
We are. So there's our story. It's 2 Leos. It could get interesting
2 Leos and our drinks.
in our drinks. So
So-
have a good night. We wish you well wherever you are. Please remember that we're all having a hard time, and if you can apply some kindness and make it better, please do. So
Yes, be kind, be patient. Just
walk your path.
Yes.
Walk your talk. Be spiritual. It's a lot better than being angry. So, but we're all working. I'm not judging.
no,
So-
yeah, we all. I struggle with that too still.
So look at all the Leos. Well, we're glad you could be
yeah,
here.
all the Leos.
All right, guys. Take care.
So we'll see you next Thursday at 8 p.m.
So next Thursday's what? The 2nd?
No, that's the 3rd.
Oh, so we're the day before full moon.
Oh, day after. Full moon's on the 2nd.
How am I having this wrong?
So we'll be on the 3rd.
Okay.
We'll still.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure
We'll
it
be
out.
here on a Thursday.
We'll be here on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Take care.
Bye.
Be safe out there with all the hurricanes. Bye-bye.